Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Cody over at Vestrite. Go read, or in my case, I listen to books. Go read the book Never Split the Difference if you haven't read it already. I recently finished listening to that book. I was on a plane down to, where was I going? I can't remember, but I took pages of notes. I've always seen myself as a pretty good negotiator, but I learned tons, just numerous great points, nuggets that are going to make me definitely better at like identifying the different personalities and how to best communicate with them and ultimately, end up where I want to be related to whatever negotiation. And the book covers all different types of negotiations. So go read that book. One thing that you've heard us talk a lot about is win-win. And putting together deals, negotiations that are a win-win. Winner for the buyer, a win for the buyer, a win for the seller. And it's funny because in this book, they kind of gave that saying a hard time. The author does not necessarily love the saying win-win. That could also be known as compromise, okay? Even though he doesn't agree with it, I still think win-wins are possible and compromise is possible too. But I want to get a little more into why I'm a big believer in win-wins and why they're possible. It's not necessarily that you're gonna split the difference, meet in the middle, and you could say in some ways that type of compromise both parties lose. I think win-wins are possible if everybody at the table, like you've heard me say before, is open-minded, reasonable, and willing to operate within logic. So let me take that a step further. Right around year 2000, year 2000, I was running a business that was in the floor and counter / interior design industry. And I always used to talk to the salespeople in the company about selling through education. Maybe that's someone else has made that a quote, but I think there's a lot of value in selling through education. Because if both parties are at the table, in that situation we were selling stuff, but there's a lot of correlations between selling and negotiating to actually purchase something. But through selling through education, we were allowing our client to understand why we were making the suggestions we were. It allowed them to make an educated decision, okay? So let's take that over to Vestrite / Land Deals Revealed and us teaching others how to be land acquisition experts. So you're at the table, whatever, that's just a figure of speech, whatever, it's through email, phone, Zoom, text, in person, I don't know. But it's really important for everybody to understand that what we do in the development world, that it's just math. All we're doing is math. And we're doing math backwards to arrive at what raw land is worth. So I can't encourage you enough that if you and a seller are in dramatically different places as far as what the land is worth, one, I would encourage you to educate them on how you do your math and on the comps and whatnot. Two is I couldn't encourage you enough to, I just ran a red light. I couldn't encourage you enough to ask, I got this from the book, by the way, ask how and what questions. So Because you're going to explain to them how or what process you went through to arrive at the value you're giving their property. Ask them how or what process did they arrive at, or did they use to arrive at the number they want for the property. 9 times out of 10, and I'm not kidding you because I've used this strategy numerous times, 9 times out of 10, when I educate a seller on how we arrived at our number, and then we're way far, there's a huge gap between them and us, and we ask them how or what process did they use to arrive at their number. If we're way far apart, 9 times out of 10, they don't have a way that they arrived at that number. It's just an emotional number, okay? So, and if maybe they do, maybe they have an equation. Well, here's the reality. You know how to do the math. You know how the equations work. You're going to be able to easily show them where in their equation something's not quite right or something's missing or whatever it may be. So with that said, I want to get out there. 2 things. Go read the book, Never Split the Difference. 2, we've found it extremely powerful and effective to negotiate through education. So educating sellers on how we arrived where we arrived. And this video is getting kind of long, but one other thing I want to mention to you is if there is that huge gap and they've arrived at that number through emotion or through some type of reasoning that really doesn't have logic related to value, you have got to figure out what other we call them hot buttons, what other items or things are very important to that seller, because putting a deal together is a lot more than just monetary, a lot more than just price. So what are some other things you could work through with that seller or do for that seller that you can get the piece bought at the right price based upon your calculations, but in return they're getting some other important items to them. I'll give you an example of an important item for someone. We just recently agreed to name a project after a property owner's grandchild. It was really important to them, meant a lot, and it should. That's awesome as far as their legacy and as far as their family. Another example, buying a piece of property. We've done this numerous times. Buying a piece of property that has an existing home or homes on it, and we allow the seller to have what's called salvage rights, where basically they can remove anything they want out of that home. The examples go on and on and on, but you've got to find those personalized hot buttons for that particular seller, and ultimately be able to put together a deal that you're right, that's a win-win, that works for everybody. Call it compromise, that's okay, but you can still arrive at a deal that works with using compromise. But I will agree with the author that, splitting the difference, I don't know that necessarily is the right answer most of the time. But anyways, I'm rambling at this point. If you want to learn more about how to be a land acquisition expert in the development world, go check out vestrite.com/action. Watch our short video, and if you like what you hear and you see, you can book a call with one of our, we call them breakthrough coaches, and they'll talk through, what makes you interested in land acquisition in the development world / land development, and what your goals are. And we'll be really upfront and honest with you if we feel like what we have to offer or what we teach / mentor coach is going to be a good fit for your vision and what you're wanting to do. So with that said, take care. I'm at 10 minutes. But remember, we're here for you. We care about you. We hope we can work with you. And yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.